This section covers conditional statement. There's four main things that you need to know about conditional statement. How to identify the hypothesis and conclusion, write the contrapositive, inverse, and converse. Okay, first, the hypothesis is always the if statement. So, the if statement says a triangle has two sides. Okay, that is your hypothesis, okay? The conclusion is the then part. The triangle has two angles that are congruent. Or just say it has two congruent angles. Okay? And that part right there is your conclusion. Okay, next thing they want you to do is write the contrapositive. Okay, to do that, okay, you just have to remember that the three things. First, I'm going to just talk about the converse first. The converse is if you switch the hypothesis and the conclusion. The inverse, you put a not into it, into both the hypothesis and the conclusion. And the contrapositive, you switch the hypothesis and conclusion, and you put not into it. Okay, so the contrapositive, remember, not and switch, okay? So the triangle does not, I'm sorry, I forgot the word if the triangle does not have two sides, two congruent angles, then it does not have two congruent sides. Let's make this a little bit smaller so that we can fit it in. Okay. Next statement, the inverse. Remember, with the inverse, all we have to do is put the not into a conditional statement. Okay, so with the inverse, I can say if a triangle does not have two congruent sides, then it does not have two congruent angles. Okay? And finally, we talk about the inverse. The inverse is, remember, we just have to switch if the triangle have two congruent angles, then it has two congruent sides. Okay. Let's do another example. Okay. here our conditional statement is if the slope of the line are negative reciprocal, then the lines are perpendicular. To identify the hypothesis and conclusion, okay? We're going to identify the slope of the line are negative reciprocal. That's the if part. The then part is the conclusion. The lines are perpendicular. If the slope of the line are not negative reciprocal, okay? Remember, with the inverse, we switch, okay? If the slope of the line are not negative reciprocal, with the inverse we put the not, okay? If the slope of the lines are not negative reciprocal, then they are not perpendicular. The converse is the one that we switch. If the lines are perpendicular, then they are negative reciprocal. And then the contrapositive, we do both. We switch and we put the not. If the lines are not perpendicular, then they are not negative reciprocals. Okay, and now we do counter examples. Counter examples are examples that makes a statement false. For example, the statement all lines have a slope. Okay, that's incorrect because vertical lines has undefined slope, which means there's no slope. Okay. Provide a counterexample for the following statement. If you multiply two positive numbers together, it would be greater than adding the same two positive numbers. That's incorrect because 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And adding there gives you a bigger number than multiplying.